hearing that they're going to start hanging protesters tomorrow. So it comes back to the question, have they crossed your red line, or has the line moved?
I haven't heard about the hanging. If they hang them, you're going to see some things that I don't know what where you come from and what your thought process is, but you'll perhaps be very happy.
What do you mean by that?
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
The crisis in Iran is beginning to spill beyond its borders. Tehran is warning neighboring countries that host U.S. forces that American bases could be targeted if Washington intervenes in Iran's ongoing protests. A senior Iranian official told Reuters that the message has been conveyed to several U.S. allies in the region, including Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey. Amid rising tensions, diplomats say some personnel were advised to leave the U.S. military's al-Udeid air base in Qatar. Officials describe the move as a precautionary posture change, not a full evacuation, and there were no immediate signs of large-scale troop movements. Still, the development has raised concern across the region. The warning comes as U.S. President Donald Trump has publicly threatened action in response to Iran's violent crackdown on protesters. In recent interviews, President Trump warned of very strong action if Iranian authorities execute protesters. He also urged Iranians to continue demonstrating, saying help would be on the way, without offering further details. The United States has also increased economic pressure, announcing new tariffs on countries doing business with Iran and urging American citizens to leave the country.
U.S. airstrikes, if it comes to that, will have the result of protecting the protesters.
Well, you never know, do you? You never know.
Do you think it's...
So far, my track record's been excellent, but you never know.
Do you think it's going to be something kinetic like that, or more like cyber? Or
well, I can't tell you that. I know exactly what it would be. We have to make a decision.
Sir,
but I can't be. Obviously,
timeline?
I can't be telling you.
Timeline? Yeah, timeline. Intel.
Iran says that it will retaliate in the instance of U.S. strikes against U.S. assets in the Middle East. What do you say to U.S. service members about why it's worth the risk to intervene in Iran?
Yeah, Iran said that the last time I blew them up with the nuclear capability, which they don't have any longer. So Iran said that the last time. They better behave.
Mr. President, on Iran, do you have a message for the leaders currently of Iran?
Yeah, the message is they've got to show humanity. They've got a big problem, and I hope they're not going to be killing people. And I'm going to have a report very soon. It would seem to me that they have been badly misbehaving, but that is not confirmed.
So are you committing not to sending U.S. troops into Iran?
Why would I tell you that? Why would I? I don't talk about military strategy with a reporter, you know, even though I do like the Financial Times.
Are you consulting with our allies regarding Iran? What are they telling you, and why do you think the Iranian...
Well, I'm not going to tell you what they're telling me. I don't tell you what they...
Why do you think the Iranian leadership continues to defy you, Mr. President?
You think they are?
Well,
it's only been a couple of days.
They continue to kill protesters.
Well, they said that about Venezuela, too, you know. It's only been a couple of days. They haven't defied me. They haven't done anything as far as we're concerned. But it looks like they're killing a lot of people, but it has not been confirmed. I'll know very soon.
Freelancer, the premier of Freelance said today we prefer to stay with Denmark. You see that as the
Who said that?
The premier of Freelance.
Well, that's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Do you want to see democracy in Iran?
Ideally, you'd like to see it, but what we want to see is we don't want to see people killed, and we want to see a little bit of freedom for these people. These people have been living in hell for a long time. You know, that used to be a hell of a country. I have friends that used to invest in Iran, and they did well with their investments. It was a great place. The people were great. Even the leadership was good. And now it's living in hell. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Americans woke up this morning and they saw that you said help is on the way.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a lot of help on the way and in different forms, including economic help from our standpoint, and not going to help Iran very much. And, you know, we put Iran out of business with their nuclear capacity, and now, depending on what's actually happening, nobody's been able to give us accurate numbers about how many people they've killed.
Well, on that
but
point,
it looks
Mr.
like
President,
it could be a pretty substantial number, and that's going to be a lot of problems for them.
in this strong action you're talking about, what's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define
And
that
we're
in
winning.
Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani. And let's define it in Iran, where he wiped out their Iran nuclear threat in a period of about 15 minutes once the B-2s got there. And that was a complete obliteration, as it turns out, which is what I said initially. Then some questioned it, and they said, you know, Trump was right. So we've been right about everything. We don't want to see what's happening in Iran happen. And, you know, if they want to have protests, that's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good.
A U.S.-based rights group says more than 2,600 people may have been killed in recent days as one of the largest protest movements against Iran's clerical leadership continues. Information from inside Iran remains limited due to widespread internet disruptions.
The Zionist regime's threat against the Islamic Republic of Iran today is a real threat in a way, an existential threat to us. We have taken this threat completely seriously, and we are, in fact, preparing ourselves commensurate with the magnitude and scale of this very threat. These incidents, which were in fact the exploitation of a normal professional protest in their country, turning it into a riot and then into an armed terrorist operation, showed that they had completely planned it, and these series of they will continue the 12-day war, but with the efforts and determination of our security, police and military forces, they were suppressed. Many of those who fired upon our armed forces were punished.
Authorities continue to accuse the United States and Israel of fueling the unrest, while pro-government rallies have been held to demonstrate support for the leadership. Iranian officials say direct contacts between Tehran and Washington have now been suspended, reflecting the growing strain between the two sides. Israeli officials say Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's security cabinet has been briefed on the possibility of U.S. intervention or political instability inside Iran. Iran, meanwhile, says it is in contact with regional governments, including Qatar, the UAE, and Turkey, insisting it will defend its sovereignty against any foreign interference. With diplomatic channels narrowing and military signals increasing, the situation remains volatile and closely watched across the Middle East.